This is the talk of Music City Real Estate.
Welcome back to another episode of the Talk of Music City Real Estate,
where we educate and motivate all things real estate.
My name is Monte Mohr with Realty One Group Music City.
Hey, and I'm Carrie Ann with CMG Financial and My Mortgage Team.
Every week we'll be posting a new episode chock full of Nashville real estate value.
Yes, and you can follow along and subscribe at talkmusiccity.com.
Got a question for us? Ask away at questions@talkmusiccity.com.
Monty!
Carrie Ann, Sear, Superwoman.
So good seeing you.
Good seeing you too. Hey, we have an amazing, speaking of superwomen,
yes.
We have an amazing lady in the house today.
The one
and only, Sheida Gasparian.
Woo, woo,
Sheida, it's so good to have you with us. Thank you so much for taking some more time out of your busy day.
And her day is busy.
Yes.
If you don't follow this girl, you should.
So what would you do with 4 kids?
First of all, I'm not going to have 4. I'm not going to have 4. After 1, I made the quick decision. I did that late in life so quickly. But I was a kid of 4, right? So I was the oldest of 4. So I love that. I love that you're a mom of 4. You're an amazing mom. You're an amazing wife. You're an amazing business owner, and you do so much.
And she has chickens.
She does all the things.
All the things. All the things.
Yeah, and you do it with a smile, and you have the best hairstyles every day. But definitely follow her because you can see all that she's got going on in their busy life, which is so cool to watch.
But Sheida, in all sincerity, it's been interesting watching you blossom here at Realty One Group Music City. I think Daniel really did a good job choosing you to represent us as well as you do, and you really have embraced the whole task, and which is amazing, and it certainly made my life easier. Not easy, but easier. It's not easy, but it's certainly easier to help with your help in defraying some of the stuff that you take care of. And one of those things, of course, is the mentorship program, which is awesome how you're doing there. And I'm just really, really proud of you. I just want you to know that. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Well, I, just being able to get to meet Sheida over the last few years, and we talk a lot and, talk about business growth because I mentor folks, within my organization as well. And she was saying that some people would reach out, and maybe put one toe in the idea of maybe it's time for me to retire, my license. And she's like, nope. We're gonna pivot. We're gonna, work through this. And it's really awesome to see those folks that were possibly questioning, staying in, right, and really making some strides in their business. So that's awesome to see. So congrats on that.
I have a quick question for you.
I've got an answer.
How did this lady convince you to go out to California last month?
Well, she put it on my calendar. She got with Sam. I was like, what
is that called the assumptive close?
What are we doing this week? Sam's like, you're going to California. Yes. Yep. And then when I got to California, she said, you're speaking.
No.
Yeah.
Sure did.
And I was like, oh, I'm presenting. Okay, we're doing this. It was a lot of fun.
Did she tell you the topic before you got up there? Or?
It was so creative. And that's what I love about Sheida's spirit is she just is a disruptor. She thinks differently. And so being a dual agent, in California and also here, and you can speak of that, but she's like, I have, both of these specialties, spent years in California being an amazing real estate agent, and her family brought her to Tennessee here, right? And you do a great job here in Tennessee. So why not share the Tennessee love to the Californians? And we definitely did that. And it was awesome to see the arms opening to her. And the first day I said, I'm just going to be a fly on the wall. And so I sat back and I videotaped all, and I just watched because I was amazed. I wanted to learn how they do it in California, which is very different from here. It is. Very different. I mean, 3 days of nonstop meetings and broker tours and connections, and they invest in each other in California or where we were. Would you call that? What part of California were we in?
In the Bay Area.
Bay Area. Yeah. So it was impressive, and I'm very grateful for that. And we actually have a closing next week because of that connection, right?
We do.
I think it's amazing.
Well, that paid for the trip, didn't it? Imagine that.
And it just so happened to be that my corporate office is right there in the middle of it all. So we were able to
you really intimidated some other peers, didn't you?
Well, what's funny is I think our corporate office is there, but I don't think anybody represents the company per se there, because I was the only one representing CMG. So it was a huge platform for me. And I was like, ready, set, go, turn me on, wind me up. Here we go.
Yeah, because in those rooms for Broker Tour, there's a ton of other vendors and just affiliates that are there. And there's never been, I don't ever see CMG there, which is funny because we actually talked about this when we went to her office. I was like, I've been here before. I was like, this place looks really familiar. And I mean, growing up in the Bay Area, like you kind of learn where things are. But I was like, no, I've been in this building. Oh,
I've been in this training room.
I've been in this training room. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I have been here before. When I first started out in real estate in 2018, I went there for a class that CMG was talking about, the Home Fund It program. It's been around for that long, so it's been a great program. And I went and did a wedding event, a bridal show is how I got hooked up with CMG at that time. And I was like, that's really funny. Small world, how things just keep
small world. You know, the story of CMG, you know, he started it in just a very Amazon-like story, started it in his garage. And CMG are the initials of our owner. We're the only, or the number one single privately owned mortgage company, even today. And so he happens just to live in that area, hence the, where our headquarters, you know, is, and everything. But it was amazing to see Sheida shine. And I encourage any real estate agent to do something very similar, you know, be a disruptor, be different, right? Initially I was like, how's this going to really work? Like, are they going to welcome us, you know, or not? And it was the way I think we presented it, right? It was
absolutely,
you know, if you have a buyer interested in moving out of state and it happens to be Tennessee, you know, I am your girl. And who knew that so many people, and I think you strategically did some homework, right? We're noticing there's certain states that are still to this day moving.
Yes.
And so they're excited for the opportunity to sell their home and having a strong connection with somebody who understands California, right? Which you spent many years there, and who's very well versed in Tennessee, and being able to be that lender resource for them is a win. So good stuff.
Yeah.
You you've been in real estate since 2018. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yep.
So when you got here, how long have you been in Tennessee?
A little over 3 years.
3 years is all.
That's all.
That's amazing.
I know.
Has she taken charge or what?
Well, and you know, the other thing, and I told her today, we should talk about, you know, talking about being a disruptor, right? If you don't have listings, your own personal listings, that doesn't ever slow you, right? You know, Sheida being newer to, you know, the marketplace, you got connected to agents right out of the gate and started hosting their open houses. And then you're like, I'm not just going to do one open house. I'm going to do 2 a day. You know, and I'm going to be making it very strategic because, you know, time is money, right? And so knowing that you have, you know, a focus with your family and your business, you know you can do this much, you know, in this amount of time. And I thought it was great. And you serve not just RG, right? You serve all agents to do open houses or just RG?
So here at Realty One Group Music City, you are allowed to host outside of a brokerage. We just have a sub-agency form that they fill out, and that's not a problem. Other brokers are super happy to have you fill it out, and it's a quick, easy form that we have people sign. But yeah, we encourage our agents to. At the end of the day, it's not about competition. It's about collaboration. And we know our one family. People know where their home is when they're here with us, and you'll hear our agents talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
And being in this role now, being a branch manager here, I really am. We're working on creating that culture here, that everyone knows that, but it's okay to go ahead and step out because, like you said, if there's a listing or an area that someone's farming that they want to get a listing in, and maybe we just don't have someone in that area, we don't want to limit someone's business. Our goal here is to help every agent be the CEO of their company and be as successful as they want to be. So we don't want to limit them.
And I love if you follow you on Instagram, you know, your Instagram definitely shows that you know how to host an open house. You know how to market an open house. And you can take a lot of notes. I snag lots of notes from her and I flip it into the lending. But, you know, there is a storybook with each, right? There is, you don't just host it. There's a build up, right? There's strategy. There's intention,
absolutely,
purpose, you know, with all that you're doing. But what are we going to talk today? We could keep going down rabbit holes.
Down this road a little bit more. I think it's really interesting, Sheida, that you didn't realize that we don't do open houses on Saturday in Tennessee.
Yeah. So
I think it's interesting that you didn't know we don't do that.
Nope.
And so you didn't let that be a hindrance, if you hear what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because the older ones in the business, like myself, had felt like we had already proven that fact when the Titans had come to town, and we tried to switch them to Saturday because we didn't have good results on Sundays during game time. And so we went back to Sundays and just muscled through it and just had the games playing then to make sure that people wouldn't, be missing that. But you come into town with an open mind saying, well, let's try Saturday, and Saturdays are working for you. And you're not just doing one during what we'd call a normal time to 2 to 4, but you're doing two of them.
yeah, absolutely.
Can we expand on that just a little bit more? Because you now have got other agents in our office doing that. And it sounds like, based on our numbers on our notable observation call on Monday mornings, it sounds like Saturdays have become more popular, or more traffic anyhow, if you call that popular, than what Sundays have been over the decades. So can we explore that a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it truly, for me, it goes back to when my family moved here 3 years ago, three and a half years ago. One decision that my husband and I had made was, hey, moving here, starting from scratch in my real estate career, what was something that I knew I wanted to work within our schedule was I did not want to do open houses on Sunday. I really want Sunday to be our family day, and we kind of take off from social media. We just spend time together as a family. So that I knew going into it was something I was going to have to change and adjust. And in California, we host open houses Saturdays, Sundays, all different times of the day. So that I was fine with. So I was like, well,
Tuesdays,
we do Tuesdays, we do Thursdays, we do Wednesdays, any day of the week.
Well, I'd like to tell the agents any day is better than no days.
Yeah,
absolutely.
For sure.
And so when I got here, I was like, well, let me figure out how to do it, because truly, open houses, it's a numbers game, guys. No matter who has been in this industry for however long, it's a numbers game. You have to get in front of so many people. And so I was like, well, let's just do 2 on Saturday. So I do a 10 to 1 and a 2 to 5. I strategically place them so I can go pick up my signs and go put them down at the next one in between. But that's what I started doing. And then, you had briefly touched on mentorship. Stepping into being a mentor here, I've had mentees now that go and do other days of the week too. We have some that are really successful with Fridays, some that have been successful with Thursday afternoons and evenings, even mornings sometimes too. So it's really just about what fits into your schedule, because you're not the only one out there that schedule is working for. So I think it's, just kind of thinking outside the box, thinking outside of, what's the normal. Well, it doesn't have to be normal.
That's why I wanted to bring it up and explore it a little bit further, because you opened up my mind to that. It's helpful to hear the results, and Becky is a great example of that.
Absolutely,
you're one of your mentees, because she's rocking it, and she sees the value of having that platform, and it's called an open house, to meet people and doing well right out of the box, because she knows that's an inexpensive way to meet people, and
100%.
She's doing a great job. But you inspired her to do that. So
and you're strategic on the ones that you pick. You try to make sure that they're close enough so you can shift. If you are talking to a client, within one, you want to make sure you're able to get to the next one, very quickly, right? And
absolutely.
So you probably have strategy all around, like, hey, after you leave this one, if this was not the one for you, you can come see me at, a little later down the street or something.
I do. And you'd be surprised. I'm like, hey, I know you really like this house. And it happens a lot for me in East Nashville, where they'll be like, I love this tall and skinny, but I wish it had a garage, or I wish it had, this. And I'm like, well, guess what? I'm hosting one 2 to 5 and it's 2 blocks this way. So come and see me, and I'll hand them the flyer, because I'll already have it on me, and they'll come show up because they're already there. And so they're already in town. They're already around. They're doing things, and then they'll swing
two
by.
experiences. You're connecting with them at that point.
Exactly.
So much more time to build that rapport. Right. That's a great.
And that's
great
what it's all
idea.
about, is building that rapport.
Yes.
So I know that's not what we're going to talk about today, but I did want to explore that for a minute, because I think it's. I know you opened my eyes, to that, and I want to make sure everybody knows that. Fit it around your schedule, because it's not going to be any good anybody's schedule if it's not fitting in your schedule. So make sure it fits your schedule. And
I also love you setting boundaries. I learned from another really top, actually she might be number one in the state, but boundaries is key, right? And so, and being comfortable with your boundaries and knowing that Sundays are family time, and so working every other day minus that day is key. So, and it is okay to have a boundary.
Yes.
So that's
because
good.
in the beginning, I did not have a boundary, and I was running ragged the first couple of years as a real estate agent. So I learned very, very quickly how to learn some boundaries.
Yeah, and being able to rest and, be able to be ready to rock the next day, I think is...
I don't know what you're talking about, ladies. I don't have boundaries. I work every day, and I have for years.
I'm not saying I have them. I am rewarding her for having them. I think we will eventually maybe
she does
graduate to that.
She does have 4 amazing kids, which I still can't even believe because they're such little soldiers. I don't know if you threaten them before they get out of the car or what the deal is, but they're all just little soldiers. And I stuck my head in there recently and said, "Who's got the best mom?" They all stuck their hands up. We got the best mom.
Well, and they're all so busy too with sports, and you really work hard to make sure they're well rounded, which I love. So good stuff.
So you haven't told us how did you go from California to Tennessee? What was I understand why anybody want to leave there. No offense to anybody listening, but I'm from California. I can say that. Okay, I'm from Northern California. I was born in Willows, California, in December 1952. In case you're wondering, I want to validate that. Before real estate was invented, but anyways, so what drew you here to Tennessee? I mean, it's really amazing that it's only been 3 years now. And then when you said that, I thought, well, I remember I had a flashback there when you first came in the Nashville office and met you the first time.
We met at the summit. We met when we went to the RG Summit, the One Summit, because you were still with California at the time?
I still am.
Meaning, were you already transitioned to Nashville by the time we were there? I can't remember.
Yes,
you were. Okay,
I had
just started.
Yeah, I had just started.
Yeah.
So what made us move to Tennessee, like for us and our family, was at the time my husband worked for Tesla, and he had put in a job transfer request, and he was doing solar in California, and he had been in the electrical world for years. And so we had 2 job opportunities. They told us you have 45 days to move, and it's either going to be Austin, Texas, or Nashville, Tennessee. Wow. And I was like, okay. So my husband and I went and looked at both places, and we felt that Tennessee just fit better for our family and our values and what we were looking for, and where we wanted to raise our kids. And so we were like, let's go. So what's funny is we actually had come out here in 2020 in the middle of COVID. I mean, it has been so long ago.
Right.
And we had looked at like Williamson County, Spring Hill area, and we're like, oh my gosh, we love this area, like right on Duplex Road. Like, this is going to be great. We're going to, move here. This is what we're looking for. And in that 45 days, when a company tells you you have to move, we were like, okay, well, let's, pull up Zillow. And because at the time I didn't have access to the MLS here, and I was like, let's do this. And I was like, hey, we cannot afford what we thought we could afford. And prices were skyrocketing at the time.
They were just crazy.
They were this is the time of the 3 years ago where everyone's overbidding and all these things. And just from an investment standpoint for us and our kids and our future, I was like, oh, this is in our budget. I was like, this is not in our budget. We are not overbidding. We have a budget, and we're going to stick to our budget.
Sure.
So
back to the boundaries.
Yes, very good at boundaries. And so, that's when we realized, okay, well, what's the next driving factor? Our kids. Well, we wanted our kids to go to public school, and this might sound silly, but I wanted my kids to be able to ride a school bus. It's something that I think helps build character. And so I was like, I want a good school district. And I really cared about that. So we actually moved to Sumner County because it is one of the top in Middle Tennessee, outside of the other ones that are also really good. And so Sumner County fit in our budget, and we landed in Portland, Tennessee, in a cute little house, and we absolutely love it.
Yes.
And so
I love that.
That's kind of how we ended up here. And it's one of the best decisions we've ever made. Absolutely.
And for anybody who ever thinks it's going to take too long to get to a certain marketplace or MSA, this girl right here, I mean, she drives every day to Williamson County from Sumner County. And that is a big move and an investment, and you seem to know how to do it all.
But honestly, I love it though.
Yeah,
I do. I love getting my phone calls in and, moving here and being able to just have like scenery, minus the armadillo migration, and it's deer season, but they're just all over the road. It's great scenery when you're driving on the road.
Probably don't have armadillos in California, do you?
No, you don't. But they're all over the roads here. Let me tell you. And so, I mean, I love it though. It's beautiful scenery. It's, we get all 4 seasons here. In California, you don't. It's funny. I had a client this past weekend. We were looking at homes, and they were like, hey, this closet's really big. And I was like, So, welcome to 4 seasons of clothes, not just one.
Right.
You're going to actually need a jacket. And so, just those kind of things are
Never
just
thought of
different
that
here.
before. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely a different thing here.
I wish fall the season was a little longer.
know.
Sometimes it's 2 weeks. Some days
Yeah.
it's 4 days. We
But
don't
I
know.
love the drive. I don't mind it at all, especially when you come from where I come from in the Bay Area, where a commute would take anywhere from 2 to 3 to sometimes 4 hours if you're just in bumper to bumper traffic, or even in LA, if there's a SIG alert, you do not get on the 405 or the 101. Like,
Well,
it's just
and
how it
the
is.
reason why I bring that up is because a lot of people think they, can't step out of their, MSA. And maybe they want to refer, a lead opportunity, to somebody else. And so you have been able to open up your real estate opportunities because you're well versed in many different markets, and comfortable. And so I do think, the training of California driving has helped you, for
definitely.
sure with that.
Everything's
So,
relative to what you're used to.
Yeah, for sure.
One time I was working with a guy from Chicago, and I was out here, and I'm stuck in 440 or something. And I said, I apologize for our traffic. And he goes, poo, like this, and spits. I spit on your traffic. Your traffic is nothing, to what I'm used to. He was from, I forget what country he's from, but he had, he expressed his
He told you how it really
this traffic
really
is
was.
nothing compared. It is all relative. So
Yeah.
I'm curious, Sheida. Go back a little bit further.
Yeah.
You seem like you're natural at this, but you've only been in the business for, not a long time. 7 years, something like that. But you seem like a real natural. What got you into real estate? What were you doing before? And it seems like you apparently have benefited from prior life to this experience now, because it seems like such a natural progression.
Yeah. So prior to being in real estate, I was a director for kinder care for several years. And prior to that, I was a teacher. So coming from the education background.
Teachers are the best.
Yeah.
Teachers are the best. You're patient. You're used to getting paid less than what you're worth. You got to put on a smile on your face no matter what.
Every day.
That's
every
awesome.
day.
Teachers are the best.
Absolutely. And so I just, having that experience and having ran different schools and, when you're working for a corporation, which it is a school, so the school aspect of it, managing teachers, managing children, managing parents, getting people to trust you to drop their children off with you is very, very hard. It's not easy. People think, oh, it's so easy, just open up a preschool. No. This is people's flesh and blood that they're going to have to leave with you. So one thing that I learned from that industry was that's one of the only industries I've ever worked in that you actually see your client guaranteed twice a day.
Wow.
Because you see them at drop off and pick up. Otherwise, you don't typically see your client twice a day. You only see them once a day, or you only have one interaction with them. And so I had to quickly learn in that industry on how to deal with parents and how to get parents to trust me, and then to trust not only me, but to trust the staff that I was hiring, that I was hiring quality teachers, that I was hiring teachers that care, that were going to take care of their children. And then there's the whole legal side of it too, of making sure you're in ratios and all of that. And then there's the corporate side of it, where it is a for-profit company. So how are we making sure that we are making money and we're not in the red and we're in the black? So I think just, I did that for 10 years. And so I think going from doing that, it gave me a lot of life experience very, very early on. But I loved it. I loved every minute of it.
So let me take it another step. I'm curious because you jumped into the mentorship program with both feet. When you... and I mean that
That's
sincerely.
that teacher love,
the teaching,
that teacher
teaching,
heart.
I'm sure that this teaching part of it, but did you have
patience,
a great mentor when you got your license? I mean,
I did.
it seemed like you have
And I
really
got to
taken
meet her.
ownership of that.
Yes. So being brand new in this industry, one thing that I highly recommend to anybody is interview your broker, interview the branch manager, and find somewhere that's going to really feel like home, because that's what I did. And that is how I found Mona Phillips, who is the broker of Realty One Group Elite in California. And
See, if I could have heard that in 1983, of course, you weren't around then, were you?
Nope, it wasn't one for a couple
I
of years.
was though. I was.
That's when I got started in real estate, and my broker said he'd held up
But I was under 10.
two pieces of paper. This is a contract filled out. This is one not filled out. Make this one look like this one. And that was my training.
No.
That was my mentorship. Well, he said,
Right.
there's your desk, there's your pencil. Good luck. And that was it.
Pencil.
Yeah.
Was it a number
Pencil.
two? Number two.
Yeah, no, that's.
So
I mean,
I was
things are
just
definitely
curious
different
as
now.
to who set the bar for you in your mind that this is what it looks like? It sounds like it was your original mentor.
Yeah.
Was she your broker?
She is, and she still is my broker.
Okay.
Yep. She still is the broker owner of the 2 offices in California. And she's an incredible woman. And
what's her name?
Mona Phillips.
Mona Phillips.
Yeah, I got to meet her.
Thank you, Mona.
She's great.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And it also goes to, who she hired under her to also help run her mentorship program. So I didn't have just her. I also had Larry and Dwayne, who also helped me in the very, very beginning. But a lot of it was really her too, of just, she's a no nonsense person, like at all. And it wasn't just like, hey, here's a form and here's another form, make them look the same. It was, hey, what did you miss on here? Hey, let's figure that out. And we need to make sure that you're getting it right so that you understand what you did wrong so you don't make the same mistake again. It's not just about copy and paste. That was always her big thing. Also, her big thing is building your own brand. And so I learned very early on in this industry how to build my own brand, how to be myself, and really make a name for myself in this industry.
So you've carried that conviction on, that knowledge. This is how you were taught. So you've carried that into our mentorship program here at Realty One Group Music City.
Yep. Absolutely.
I just wanted to make the connection there. I don't think I had done that before.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I got put into the mentorship program by happenstance, by an agent that I met, that wasn't here in our brokerage, and she was just a brand new agent, and she was sitting
That's right, I forgot.
at one of your events.
Yes.
I forgot about that. That's how you and
Yes.
Becky met. That was so
That
kind
is
of you to
how-
reach out to her and say, sit with me.
Yeah, that is how Becky and I met. And I was at one of CMG's events, and she had an incredible speaker out, and Becky was just sitting at a table, and I was like, hey, like I walked in this huge room, huge auditorium, because there's hundreds and hundreds of agents. And I was like, hey, come sit with us. And she's just like, okay. And I could tell she was a little nervous, but I was like, it's fine.
Turns out she's got how many kids as well?
She has 4 kids,
She has
as,
4
well.
kids as well.
And she's also from California. Like, I'm telling you, 6 degrees of separation. And, when I met her, she was with a different brokerage at the time, and she had just gotten her license. And, I just talked to her. And I mean, that's what it's about in this industry. Like, you just got to talk to people. Just talk to people. And she was like, hey, I would love to come over. I'm not really getting the support that I am needing. I don't know what I'm doing. And I was like, come on over. Like, absolutely. And she said, I will only come over if you will be my mentor. And I was like, well, I haven't done that yet, but let's try. Let's see what that looks like. And so, a year later, she is graduating the mentorship program this Thursday. So I am super, super excited.
That's
Well,
amazing.
I'm so proud of her.
Absolutely killed it.
That is so awesome. And now you are in charge of the mentorship program.
I'm in charge of the mentorship program. Yes.
Well,
And we've got quite a few within, that program.
We do.
Yeah. And I think it's important. I think anything when you start something new, you get a little lost, maybe the dream and you show up and it's not really what you thought it was going to be, and, just having somebody that maybe pushes you just a little bit and you get that no nonsense, from Mona.
Oh,
you do a
yes.
great job of that and say, try again, pull you back in and try again. And you set, hey, this is the structure I would, give you guidance on, with even how to connect to a vendor and things like that. So you do a really,
Absolutely.
really great, job. And I think that's important. I mean, we talk about accountability partners and, I still to this day have mentors. I mean, somebody told me midway in my career, when you decide to be uncoachable, and you have a whole saying about the coachable and the thing, you want to say that thing you say, that thing you say?
MCQA.
The thing you do? Yeah, is that what it is?
Yeah.
What is that?
MQCA. MQCA.
Yeah, MQCA. Sorry.
Yeah, they got to be coachable,
They've got to be motivated.
motivated.
If
And
they're not motivated,
yeah,
it's like trying to push a string uphill.
Right.
They got to be qualified. That's the cue. If they're not qualified, it doesn't matter how motivated they are.
Right.
It's just a cluster. Maybe not a cluster, but anyhow, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Number
Motivated, qualified.
C is for coachable.
coachable. Yeah.
If they're not coachable, it's the 3-year-old grabbing the steering wheel of the bus and trying, we
Right.
know how that's going to end up.
Right.
And the A is for appreciation, MQCA,
Yeah.
A for appreciation. And I never put so much emphasis only till recently about the A part of it, because I thought, well, we all like to be appreciated. We really like that. But if we're really doing a great job, that appreciation is our future business. Without the appreciation, we're probably not going to get referrals from them. And not everybody's going to appreciate us, but I put a lot more emphasis on it before, because what I've learned over the years is if somebody's missing more than one of those ingredients, well, first of all, if they're not motivated, it's going to be frustrating. If they're not qualified, you're wasting your time. If they're not coachable And the problem with the reason why that's such an important part of it all is because, our industry doesn't have the best reputation sometimes. Mm-hmm. And if I'm a consumer and I've heard not great things about the general real estate, then we all live under this blanket called the real estate industry. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Whether you're a mortgage professional or a termite or a realtor or whatever, and we're all having to do battle against that prior reputation, okay? Mm-hmm. So I understand why the consumer would have a hard time being coachable, because they feel like they're turning control of their lives over to somebody that, I've heard war stories, this kind of stuff. So It's so important that we provide, do the things that provide trust and confidence and so forth. That's why and Carrie Ann has been promoting the unreasonable hospitality,
yes, mm-hmm, that book.
Because that's a way that we can weigh heavy on the other side of that scale and bring people into, wow, I really do appreciate my realtor. Mm-hmm. I can't help but refer them to family and friends.
Yeah,
so anyhow,
absolutely.
You asked that question. Sorry.
Yeah. But I take that for me personally. So when you are building your business and you are getting even some momentum, being someone who wants to take your business to the next level, whatever level that, is for you, mm-hmm. you have to be motivated, right? Mm-hmm. So the coach the other day was like, so if you're sitting here not motivated, you're in the wrong industry, right? So you definitely have to be motivated. You got to be on your tippy toes versus on your heels. Mm-hmm. You got to be qualified, right? If you don't know what we're talking about within your craft, we probably should, take a step back. But the coachable play. So for me to be open to a new idea, a new strategy, right? To take one step back, to be a true beginner each and every morning and be open to that. Because if I walk around saying, I know all,
you don't know anything.
And I'm capped at the ceiling of all that I did, and thinking back, when I was doing $50 million, which was a big number for lending. And this guy was like, if you just take a moment and step back and be a little, remove the ego, as in like you're all that. And at the time I felt, like I was, and, but that is fine. But be more coachable and, oh my, wow, what that small shift did for me, went from 50 to 300 million 1 year, right? I mean, it really makes a difference. And so finding that accountability partner, finding that true mentor, no matter where you are in your business, I think is a huge win. And then being super appreciative and thankful and grateful for what is around.
Yeah, that goes.
I think that is
that's the whole blanket of it all.
I love
we all
that.
should have an appreciative heart anyhow, just because of the ability to live in a country where we can determine our own income and all the things that good health. I mean, there's so many things that we can be appreciative of. But so there's so many ways of measuring that.
I got a call the other day randomly from an agent, for no purpose. I didn't have a loan with him. It was just no purpose. But he wanted to reach out and just say thank you. Thank you for all those long hours that you put on my file a couple months ago. I just wanted to take a moment and just thank you. That meant so much, right? Oh, and what's so hard is when we're in it, when we're in the chaos, we forget about the transaction coordinator that I'm so grateful for, because thank goodness he had all the details that I, as a lender, could get very quickly, right? So taking a moment just to think about all the people, that are there. Thank you for, the processor for the title company, for doing an amazing job, and the warranty person that got it so quickly over to us, or that inspector that didn't derail the deal altogether scenario. So being very appreciative and thankful. Sometimes there's passion, sometimes there's emotion, and just like yesterday I got a talking to, not once, but a couple times. And I was like, hey, I'm here to create solutions. We're here to want to work together. Why are you yelling at me? Stop. But, I think sometimes we are in the moment and we forget, and so if we do, we take a step back and we, remember being motivated, qualified, coachable, and appreciative will definitely takes us to the next level in our business if you want it. And I think that's the key to that.
And on this topic, you've heard me say this on the call, I'm sure both of you, but I do believe, I remember doing this back in, Cocoa Beach days, which was again back in the early 80s. I don't know, it was a couple years into it. And when I started learning this whole thing about motivated, qualified, coachable, and appreciative, and recognizing that if they're missing one of those, then I probably need to let them get off my bus, because I had 3 little kids to feed, and you really have to watch your time and so forth. And I would start every day on my way to the office saying, thank you, Lord, that I'm attracting to myself motivated, qualified, coachable, and appreciative clients today. Now we just pause and say that because I believe we can attract to ourselves the things that we are becoming, and of course in that attraction we have to become, so forth. But anyhow, my point is we can attract a certain type of people, and then it puts us in a place of abundance rather than working with anybody and everybody. Like I shared the other day with one of our agents, if that person is stealing your piece, then let them off the bus, because they're probably taking half that bus, and you only have so much bandwidth to deal with that. So anyhow, that little side trip there on our direction here, but thank you for bringing that back up.
Because and you never know where conversations take us, you know, and I love, I always giggle because Sheida and I did a video right out of the gate. It was awesome. And then I'm speaking in this video the entire time saying Sheida's name wrong. Okay. And I appreciate a good name spoken incorrectly.
Because you can,
everybody says mine wrong. It's fine.
What is it?
Sire, Cry. Well, Miss Cry, please stand up. Or Miss Sire, please stand up.
Mine's Mohar.
Oh, Mohar, yeah. So we have, and she had a great analogy. Is that the terminology of how you connect the dots? Yeah. And we've been giggling ever since. So, just being able to, and I think our first lunch, and you know what was so awesome too, is she put me through the ringer. She was like, we're going to do this. Can you do this? You had questions.
Oh,
it was like an interview process, right? And so I love that. And I actually fuel off of that. I think you should be, to me, I was like, she is all the things as an agent I'm looking for, because she's serious about her business, right? And so I know
you don't mind partnering with somebody like that.
Yeah, I love that, and I was thriving on the idea that we could become partners, and not only have we become partners, but also friends. And I'm very grateful for both of those, and making a difference for many family members out there. So we had a whole outline. She did so good. She came with this whole outline, and we did not talk anything about it. So we're gonna have to have her back, Monty.
Next time,
we're gonna have to have her come back. But thank you so much, Sheida, for being with us. And if you are looking to learn from somebody that is so talented in the real estate business,
success leaves clues.
Definitely follow her. I think you have a great page. Tell us your handle.
Homes by Sheida.
And spell Sheida.
Sheida.
Love that. Homes by Sheida.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us
Thank
this
you, everybody.
week. You've been listening to the talk of Music City Real Estate.